The one piece of relationship advice that I wish someone had told me earlier. My name's Christina, I'm a relationship coach, and this is the one thing, well, maybe two things, that I wish someone would have told me earlier. And let me tell you, so you don't have to waste the time it took me to figure it out. Number one, let go of fear. Let go of the fear of the outcome. Let go of the fear of the unknown. Let go of the fear of having those hard conversations with your partner. Let go of the fear of choosing to heal from your relationship trauma and heal anything you may have experienced together as a couple. So let go of that fear and get excited for the unknown instead of fearing the unknown. And the second piece of advice I wish someone would have told me is to trust yourself. Trust yourself to overcome those fears, because when you overcome fear, it is the best feeling in the entire world, not only for yourself, but for your relationship.
The 4 stages of relationship. The first is the honeymoon period. This is where we are head over heels for each other. We are in hormonal flushes. All we can see is the good and the great in the person. The second stage of relationship. This one is the oh fuck, what is going on here? This is where all the childhood wounds come up, the unresolved trauma. The only reason or the main reason why you're together is because you're physically attracted to each other, right? There's this sexual charge in the relationship and the intimacy and the vulnerability. But now it's getting real. Now they're starting to see who you are. Now, this is where most people prematurely end the relationship if you continue. Third stage of relationship is where you work on the relationship. This is the healing stage. And the fourth stage of relationship is when you find harmony in the way that you relate. You see each other, you hear each other, you understand each other, you love each other, you care about each other. Tag your ride or die.
Don't leave what's good for something you think is better. Because by the time you realize that better ain't good, good has found better. And that's gonna fly over your head.
3 things we need to normalize in relationships. Number 1, really boring times. This is not a circus. They are not here to entertain you, nor you them. It's okay to have boring moments. It's okay to have boring phone calls or conversations. It's okay to be bored sometimes. It doesn't mean that the relationship is bad or over. And along those lines, it's also okay to have a roller coaster of feelings. Some days you're really into it. Some days you're not. I was talking to my friend the other day and she was ready to throw it all out because she wasn't feeling the same. But she also had a lot of stress going on in her life. You're not always going to feel the same. Everything else around you is going to impact the way you feel in your relationship. So don't make any big decisions when you're stressed. And normalize the fact that your emotions will change over time. And lastly, attraction levels can change in a relationship. Sometimes you're super into them and sometimes you're not, and that's okay. Give it a moment to level out before you make any decisions. Long-term relationships come with
Real
a
love isn't
plethora
about you. So this is how I know immediately where somebody's at. How's it going with so-and-so? Oh, I just love the way they make me feel. I love what they do for me. I love the way they talk to me. Are any of those things bad? No, but that isn't love. You're getting a need met from this person that you're addicted to. This is like the serial dater does this, because the real love part kicks in when that emotion wears off. And then it's like, as soon as the emotion wears off, it's like, oh, I'm going to dump this person and go back, find somebody who will meet that emotional cycle again. That's not love. That's being addicted to a biochemical reaction that feels really fucking good.
Probably the best relationship advice you're going to get today. Picking up the phone or texting them back and saying, hey, I'm not ignoring you. I just don't have the energy to talk right now. It's much more healthy for
There are 3 things that you need to come to terms with in life. Number 1, if they wanted to, they would. Number 2, no response is a response. And number 3, not everybody has the same values, the same goals, or the same heart that you do.
No one really ever tells you about being in love. Even when you're in a happy relationship that's healthy, there's still going to be days when you are really lonely and that you're not happy. And on those days, you really have to advocate for what you need and you have to tell them what you need, ask them to support you, which can be hard, but it's the most important part of it all. The day you stop being an active participant, advocating for yourself and asking for your needs is the day that things start to fall apart. So keep asking questions, keep listening, and talk.
When your partner comes to you and says that they feel hurt by something you said or did, instead of this, I know, I'm the worst, I'm such an idiot, try this. I can see how you feel that way, that makes sense. Instead of this, hey, I really didn't mean to hurt you, try this. It sounds like what I did left you feeling really hurt. Instead of this, you're overreacting, you'll be fine, try this. I'm glad you told me how you're feeling. When your partner comes to you and says that they feel hurt by something you said or did, instead of this, I know, I'm the worst, I'm such an idiot, try this. I can see how you feel that way, that makes sense. Instead of this, hey, I really didn't mean to hurt you, try this. It sounds like what I did left you feeling really hurt.
Save and strengthen your relationship. So you gotta start asking your partner this. The first thing I want you to start asking your partner is, in what way can I improve as a partner? Let's be real. All of us have things we need to work on in a relationship. All of us have things we need to work on as a person. And sometimes we're unintentionally doing something that's causing our partner to push us away. By asking this question, it allows you the opportunity to be able to change those habits so that you can form healthier habits. The second thing I want you to ask your partner is, are there any needs that I'm neglecting? All of us have needs in a relationship. And sometimes we end up falling in love with someone who has very different needs from our own. We can oftentimes end up neglecting needs we didn't even know were there. This is why you're asking your partner this question, just to make sure. The third question I want you to ask them is actually a really important question, and it's something that can strengthen the relationship more than you realize. I want you to ask them, is there anything that I've done that you're still hurt over? And what do you need from me to help you to heal? This question in and of itself is extremely powerful because it lets your partner know that they are not alone in the healing process and that you are there for them every step of the way. The fourth question is really important because it allows you to do something that helps your partner not only feel more loved, but also helps them to deepen the feelings of love for you. So I want you to ask them, what do I do that makes you feel the most loved? You're asking them this question because it allows you to know what is it that you're already doing that makes them feel loved, and what can you do more of? When you do more of something that already makes them feel loved, it's just going to deepen those feelings they have for you. They're going to feel supported, they're going to feel warm when they see you. All of these positive changes can happen when you do more of something that helps your partner to feel good.
Here are a few tips based on my personal experience after being in a relationship for 7 years on how to maintain a long-term relationship. One thing to keep in mind is to remember that you are a team. You are a unit. You are not in competition. And so, derogatory comments, maybe a little bit too much teasing, maybe not supporting each other is a way to slowly, I think, deteriorate a relationship like that. Because you have to have each other's backs. That's the point of partnership in my mind. And so keeping that in mind, I think could be really beneficial. One thing that I don't think is talked about enough is the importance of being silly and childish or childlike with one another. Or at least being able to feel comfortable to do that with somebody. It's opening up in this way and allowing your inner children to have fun and play. And I don't think there's enough space for the concept of play in like adult, mature relationships. And for me, I found that was, a big important part of what kept my 7-year-long relationship going for as long as it did. And the final one is compromising occasionally is important, but it depends on what you're compromising on. I don't think it's good to compromise your morals, your values, your deep beliefs. I think those are important to stick by because they are what make you who you are, right? But I think compromise in terms of your comfort zone is very important. When I went into my relationship, I was very much an introvert, did not go out very much, was not very social. And my partner at the time was. And that allowed him and me to come out of my shell a little bit, right? To explore this new way of living and existing and interacting with people. And I'm very grateful for that. And so I think if I hadn't compromised on that, if I stayed in my shell all the time, I wouldn't have grown as much as I actually did. Of course, there are so many more tips, and I'm sure many of you out there have many to add to this as well. So feel free to add them in the comments. This is just what I've experienced and what I think are the main 3 things that I would continue doing in future relationships.